Why did Elvis not spend Valentine's Day, right before he went into the Army in 1958, with his serious girlfriend Anita Wood? Why did he spend the romantic holiday with Kitty instead?
Yeah, would you rather be a lover or a fighter?
It's just according to what the situation is, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to be both.
I think you can handle both.
At the time, Anita Wood was known as Elvis Presley's official girlfriend among his family and friends. Even though Elvis had been dating Anita since July 1957, 8 months before he was inducted into the Army, he was still having short-lived romances with other girls during that time. One girl who Elvis had been seeing almost as long as Anita remained a well-kept secret. Singer, actress and model Kitty Dolan, described as the least publicized girl in Elvis's life, first met Elvis in Las Vegas in the fall of 1957 when she was singing at the Tropicana Hotel. She recalled how Elvis took her to see the Sammy Davis Jr. show at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas. "It was too much," said Kitty. "Sammy Davis does a takeoff of Elvis at the end of his show, and Elvis loves it. He has a wonderful sense of humor," unquote. "Imagine him putting me on the finale of his show," Elvis said to Kitty. "This guy is the most versatile, the most talented," unquote. Kitty was linked with Elvis in the gossip columns several times. But she didn't speak about Elvis until a year after he entered the Army. "We dated all the time, in Vegas, in Hollywood, then at Killeen," 21-year-old Dolan revealed. "I've known him for over a year now, but you never heard of it. Because I didn't want him to think I was using his name. But now that he's overseas, I think we should talk about him. Everyone should. I want to keep his name alive," unquote. Dolan's interview appeared in the special magazine publication called Elvis in the Army. The article was called "The Love Story He Hides," as revealed to the editor by his best girl. With Elvis in Germany in 1959, it was easier to discuss the fact that he had been dating other girls besides Anita. "In Vegas when I was dating him, I didn't tell anyone, because I didn't want the other girls cutting my throat when I went backstage to work at night," Kitty revealed. "Oh, the girls backstage aren't bad, but they wanted to date him too," unquote. In Las Vegas, Elvis would rent a Cadillac and a motorcycle, and take his dates for a spin. Gossip columnist May Mann described Kitty as a gorgeous brunette who had eyes and a face like Elvis's mama, Gladys Presley. "Now if it weren't for Elvis Presley, I can say I could never be induced to get on a motorcycle," Kitty told May. Kitty visited Elvis on the set of King Creole in early 1958, as evident in photographs taken of her with Elvis on the studio lot. She helped him rehearse his lines. Meanwhile, Anita Wood, who was a singer and actress herself, would often come visit Elvis in Hollywood. But she couldn't be there with him every day since she had her own career. It seems Elvis did not feel guilty about dating multiple women at the same time, or leading on his number one girlfriend, Anita, to believe she was the only girl for him. Even though Anita would have moved into the upstairs at Graceland in 1957, that didn't stop Elvis from bringing other women around when she wasn't there. "One time Anita went out shopping and Elvis brought another girl upstairs," said Marty Lacker. "He was fooling around with her in the bedroom, when all of a sudden, one of the guys called up and said, 'Hey, Elvis, Anita's coming through the gate.'" Marty then described how Elvis had the guys place a ladder by one of his windows. He made the girl climb out the window first, then he followed. When Anita came up the stairs, Elvis wasn't there. Quote, "He walked around the back of the house to the front and came upstairs behind her," Marty continued. Elvis said to Anita, "Oh, you're home, great." Elvis would do stuff like that all the time, unquote. Of course, Anita would find out about other women from time to time. Since Elvis was her first love, she wanted to believe the excuses he gave her. Quote, "Elvis would always come to me and say, 'But, little, you know these are just publicity stunts. It doesn't mean anything. You're the only one I care about,'" Anita explained, admitting that she was gullible. "Elvis could make you believe anything," she said. On February 14, his last Valentine's Day before entering the Army, Elvis spent the romantic evening not with his Memphis girlfriend Anita Wood, who could not be in Hollywood that day, but with Kitty. Elvis invited Kitty for dinner with him at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel where he stayed during filming. After dinner in the penthouse dining room, 23-year-old Elvis presented Kitty with a box of Louis Sherry chocolates. "We sat on the floor eating candy and watching television," Kitty described. "And I'd say, 'Elvis, try this piece.' he'd bite into it and throw it back with, "I don't like this, try this one." We were throwing pieces of candy back and forth, and I guess we looked loco, but we were having such fun, unquote. The following month, Elvis would be inducted into the Army. Not only would Elvis have to get a drastic haircut, but he would also have to shave off his long sideburns. Elvis was asked about cutting off his sideburns on that same train ride in January 1958. While he doesn't give a reason, Elvis was believed to have trimmed his sideburns for his role in King Creole.
You mean, do I mind giving
Yeah,
them?
actually, I mean,
No, they'll go back. If it was a situation, if they cut them off and I never could have any more, then I would worry about it.
They look shorter today. Have you wearing them shorter than
I wore them shorter than I used to.
What's the reason for that, Amy?
Well, I don't know.
I was understanding you
kind
were
of
on...
tired. It was down to my cheekbone. Yeah, I guess.
When Elvis returned home, he spent lots of time with Anita in the days leading up to his Army induction. On March 21st, 3 days before Elvis left for the Army, he bought Anita a new 1956 pink Ford. Anita was so flattered that Elvis would buy her a car. She drove it every day until he bought her another car in 1962. While the relationship with Kitty was not serious, she was still involved with Elvis through September 1958 when he spent his last days at Fort Hood in Texas. Dolan was quoted regarding her visit with Presley by gossip columnist Luella Parsons on September 23, 1958. "It was a sort of farewell to Elvis before he left for duty in Germany," Kitty said. "No, we are not engaged, but I admit I expect to see Elvis soon again when I make a tour of Europe." During her 3-day visit, Kitty and Elvis went to the movies at night or stayed at home. One night during her stay, Kitty recalled, quote, "At 2 a.m., we said goodnight. When he kissed me, I said with a little laugh, 'What is this with you and Anita Wood? I've been reading all the stories.' Elvis smiled and said, 'She has a good press agent.' And then he kissed me again, and I forgot about any other girl," unquote. However, on the last day of her visit, Kitty found out that Elvis had made arrangements for Anita Wood to come join him just as Kitty was leaving. Not liking to be alone, Elvis often sent one girlfriend home as another girlfriend was on her way to visit, a practice he was known to do often. It is unclear if Kitty ever went to Europe that year, and there is no evidence of Elvis seeing her while he was stationed in Germany. Kitty ended up getting married in 1963 and left show business. Although Kitty became another girlfriend of Presley's for the history books, she did have some great insights from the time she spent with him. Quote, "Whenever Elvis talked about marriage he'd laugh or kid," described Dolan. "He just won't commit himself. One of his buddies said, 'You'll be 50 before you marry,' unquote." Find out more about Kitty Dolan and Elvis Presley's other secret girlfriends during the 2 years he served in the Army in the book, Elvis, The Army Years Uncovered, behind the scenes of the 2 years that changed the King of Rock and Roll's life. Read a free excerpt at elvisbiography.net. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like this video to help this channel grow. Please subscribe to this channel and ring the bell for notifications of future videos. And keep watching more Elvis videos here.